Hey everyone, happy new Pick and Place Day! And here it is. Excuse my rubbish bins. Oh, let's squeeze past. 2 pallets. So this pallet over here has my new reflow oven in it, down the bottom, the IN6. And on top are boxes of feeders and extra bits. And of course, this box here is the Pick and Place. It is massive. So I need to pull this apart, get it off the pallet and move it in. How exciting. Let's go. Well, that was an effort to get this inside my office. There's some time-lapse footage you just saw of me pulling the crate apart and Yaz and I adjusting the wheels and the legs to be able to get it off the pallet. Flynn helping out, of course. Thanks, Flynn. But ultimately I had to get someone else down to help us get it off the pallet because this thing weighs 200 kilograms or more and we just couldn't get it off. It was too awkward. There's no easy place to leverage when you're lifting it. But we got it off. There was only one minor injury, not to me, unfortunately to my friend Ronnie. Sorry Ronnie, but we got it off. It's now on its wheels so it can move around, but it doesn't stay on the wheels once it gets put in place. The legs themselves screw down and lock into place, which lifts it off the wheels. But I can't do that until I've got it all set up and I've got all the feeders on and everything else, and I am just knackered right now. I really want to get this set up and everything ready to go, or at least the feeders I've got. I think I've got 8 feeders here with me. But yeah, it's going to be a long, slow process. This might not be a video that ends up showing you everything about the machine up and running, but it'll at least show you about the machine. So I'm going to get a better angle and show you a little bit what the inside looks like without any feeders or anything else connected yet. Let's take a look. Okay, this is the front of the machine. You've got emergency stop, an on-off button, the start button, and some USB connectors here, and a bracket here for the touchscreen to go that controls the unit, which we'll have a look at a bit later. And the front opens up like this, and you've got 29 feeder slots to plug into here, into the cartridges. Again, I'll grab some cartridges later and I'll show you what they look like. The conveyor belt system runs through here, so it comes in from the left and it goes out on the right, and the actual conveyors are auto-adjusting in terms of their size, so it knows how big the panel is and adjusts itself, and it's also got a programmable stop position, so I can actually make the PCB stop at any position I want to. So if it's using components that are maybe just over on this side, I can actually stop the PCB here and have less travel time. The actual head for pickup head is just behind here. It's locked into place right now. I haven't taken the brackets off or the tape, so I'm going to have to do that in a moment, so I can't show you that right now. But what I do want to show you is that the back of the machine is almost identical to the front. So there's another lid that lifts here, and on the back there are another 29 feeders. There's also a USB connector, there's a stop-start button and an emergency button. So you can basically be standing on any side of the machine to stop and start the machine. What it means though is I need to have access to both sides of the machines for feeders. So it's going to take a massive amount of space compared to what I had before with my Charm High. I mean, obviously the machine itself is considerably bigger, but the feeders stick out about this far, and that's on both sides. Plus I've got some really large reels that need to go on the back, and they have to go down to the floor. And so yeah, that whole section where I used to have my Charm High, I think my 3D printer is going to have to go. I might even have to move my couch. I'm going to need a lot more space. This is going to occupy quite a lot of space in my office. Let's get the camera in a bit closer and have a look inside. Okay, I've disconnected all the clamps that was holding the pick and place head together, so although it's quite tight, this is free to move. It's got a lot of weight to it. It's got some massive belts running this thing. You can see really chunky cable management. So the cartridges themselves are electronic cartridges. They're not just a dumb cartridge that runs off a mechanical mechanism. They're all electronic driven, and when they connect and feed into these sections, you can see over here that there's connectors for each one that has a lot more than just power. It's got digital I/O coming in and out, and it can talk to the feeder, and you'll see when I get it all set up how the feeders work and how they're quite unique compared to conventional feeders. Now inside this 29 positions here, I use some of these positions for the up camera. The up camera is normally placed on this side over here, and I believe it takes 3 or 4 slots, maybe even more, I can't remember. But the up camera goes in, and that's really only used for large ICs. The actual pickup nozzles on this unit here uses a 3D laser to do part orientation and position correction while the actual pickup heads are moving, and that means that for most components, at least all the components I use, 7mm QFN and below, I won't need to use the up vision camera, and so I don't necessarily have to have it mounted, but anytime I want to mount it, I just need to plug it in and then do a calibration on it. And then if I want to remove it, I can remove it and use the extra slots for feeders. Let's have a look at the back of the machine now. Okay, this is the back. It's quite hard to get a really good camera shot into here. It's very dark. Inside here it's all black, obviously. This looks the same as the front does. You've got feeders 30 up to 58. But what you've also got is this section here, which is used to mount either IC trays, or you can even use loose tape on here, any type of ad hoc parts, and you can program those in to the pickup system just like I could on my Charm High. So this is going to allow me to place things that I can't necessarily get inside a feeder. It's probably not something I'm going to explore straight away, but it's nice to know that the machine can support this if I want it to. The machine came with some boxes of stuff. Inside here will be some of my feeders, there'll be some tools, there's an emergency light that needs to be connected. Let's have a look at what's inside them, shall we? This is going to make a mess. Okay, this is a tray of something, I don't know. In the instructions. Ah, this is instructions for building the reflow oven stand. Okay, cool. Haven't even spoken about that yet. We'll get to that another time. Okay, this looks like the emergency light. I'm not sure if the machine will operate without it. Probably will. Okay, how's that for a fancy light? So it connects to the machine on the side, and it swivels around and sits up, and it's an RGB light. So it's obviously green when things are good, and orange if there's an issue, and red if there's a problem. Danger, Will Robinson. So, I need to attach that. I'll do that soon. These are tools. Tools and test stuff. Oh, and nozzles. Okay, so I've got a box here with a whole bunch of different sized nozzles that I asked for. I will show you those later, but these are 0201 all the way up to pretty large nozzles. Excellent. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of tools in here. There are the extension brackets for the side of the machine to connect conveyor belts to it. There's a test board that has got 0201 all the way up to 0805 and a whole lot of stuff. Screwdrivers, fuses, Allen keys, lots of brackets and goodies. Excellent. There's another box here. Okay, this is the monitor that connects to the machine. So it's a touchscreen Linux machine. Wow. Nice. That just slides in with this bracket just here and clamps into place. So that will have to be attached to the machine. Let's move it over here. There's another box. Monitor cable and power cable. Okay, so it uses a custom monitor cable because it's also passing touch and data and everything else with it. Cool. Okay, so that's box one. No, what is this? This is quite heavy. Right, that is the lookup camera, I believe. Yep. Okay, so this is the IC lookup camera. That's the camera just there. And this connects into... Right, it's quite narrow. That's great. So it looks like it's only going to take maybe 2 slots or 3 slots. Cool, okay. This back in the bag. Okay, next box. Should be the feeders. Okay, just a quick break to explain what I'm opening and why it looks the way it does. So you might have noticed that a lot of the packaging doesn't look like it's brand new out of the factory. It looks like it's been repackaged. And that is because this machine is a demo unit. I bought it from Embedded Logic Solutions in Sydney. They are the Neoden distributor in Australia. And I had to buy their demo machine because there are no machines available anywhere. The lead time on getting a machine off the manufacturing line is unknown right now. Months, many months. 3, 6 months, who knows? They're having trouble making them right now, getting parts. They're having trouble with their supply chain because most of the supply chain for Neoden are making PPE products right now. And I didn't have 3 months or more to wait to get a machine off the line and then have it shipped here. So thank you, Ramsey, for letting me buy the demo unit. This is actually the unit I saw running back in September at a show when I first found out about the S1. And when I kind of fell in love with it. And so it's that exact machine I have here now. So this has been repackaged back up again and shipped to me from Sydney, which is why it looks the way it does in terms of shipping. It's got a few little bumps and scratches on it. That's okay, it's all cosmetic. And I'm honestly just super lucky that I managed to get my hands on this machine because I'd sold my other machine already, and if this didn't come through, I would have been without a pick and place machine with thousands of tiny pickos to build. So thanks, Ramsey, I really appreciate it. Check out Embedded Logic Solutions. I'll put a link in the description below. Let's go find out what's in the next box. Okay, last box. I have no idea where I'm going to put all this packaging, by the way. Okay, so these are the feeders. Wow. So obviously I saw these operational at the show, but I have not actually seen one of these in my hand live. So these are 8mm feeders. There are 2 there. Let's take this out. I will actually put them over here, just on the ground. Put them back in. So Ramsey had 5 8mm feeders and 1 12, 116 and 124. So I got those off him as part of the sale, and I've ordered the rest of my feeders to come from Neoden, and they shipped out end of last week, and hopefully I'll have them maybe next week or maybe the week after because of delays in shipping. Okay, so this looks like a 16mm feeder, I think. This one looks like a 12. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I miscount? 1. Right, this is a stand to hold reels, large reels on the ground. Okay, let me recount these feeders. Maybe I miscounted. Maybe that's the 24. Is it a 16? Okay, I'm short on feeders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There should be 8 feeders. Unless they're... oh, here they are. They're on the bottom of the other box. Whew, that was close. Okay, another 8mm feeder here. 12. And... right, that's the 12. Okay, I've got all the feeders. No need to panic. It's all good. Let's have a look at how a feeder loads into the machine, shall we? Okay, so as I said, I'm not going to show you how to actually load up one of these feeders right now, but I do want to show you how they work and how they connect to the machine. So as you can see here, there's a little peg on the bottom of the feeder, and you place your components on that. These are a rate of 5 1.2k resistors, 5,000 of them. So they'll get placed on the peg like that, which stays on there, as you can see. And then it's as simple as taking the cartridge, picking the slot it's going into. I'm going to put it into slot number 1, lining up the pins, and slotting it in. And that is now in place. Now, if the components were fed all the way through, they'll be going through this unit, and the tape would be feeding down in this groove down here, which goes all the way down to the bottom of the unit and out. So it's really easy to cut all the excess off. You don't have to do it at this point here. And the pull tape comes back through here, around, and hangs down here. Again, quite easy to get to. So loading cartridges is that simple, and getting them out is also that simple. So in the future, when I have a lot of these cartridges with components already loaded on them, where I don't have to actually go and load the reel each time, I can just go and grab the components that I need, load them into the pick and place into whatever slots I need that easily. They're already calibrated, they're already ready to go, and then once I'm done, I can pull them out, or I can just leave them in there. Obviously, there'll be a whole range of components that'll stay on the machine all the time. All of my common stuff, so all of my 0402, 0603 caps from 10 nanofarad all the way up to 10 microfarad, my full range of resistors that I use on my tiny picos, on my Feather S2, on my Pro S2. There's going to be a lot of 8mm feeders on here, and then I'm going to keep all of the tiny pico components on here all the time, like I did on my Charm High, but I'll have plenty of other slots for other components, which I didn't have on my Charm High, and so I'll be able to run all different types of boards as I need, and then swap cartridges out if I need to load up for a different board. Now, one other thing I'd like to show, I'm not actually going to do it, but I'm going to tell you, is that this whole bay that you see here actually comes out. There are screws here, they can be unscrewed, and this whole unit, with the feeders on it, can slot right out. Now what that means is, in the future, it's probably not going to happen because I'm not ever going to end up with that many feeders, I don't think, because they're quite expensive, but you could load out a product onto one of these feeder banks and then pull the whole bank off and replace it with a whole different bank for a different job. Rather than pulling out individual cartridges and reloading them up again, you could have preset defined racks that you can just pull off and load a new one on. That's a pretty amazing idea, and it happens on both sides. Again, I'm probably not ever going to have enough feeder cartridges to do that, to justify that, but it's nice to know that I have that flexibility in the future if I want to. That's as far as I'm going to get today. Sorry folks, I know everyone's really excited to see what this machine can do and see it up and running, as am I, but there's a lot of stuff I need to organise. I don't even know where it's going to fit in here in the office. As I said, it's quite large. With all the feeders on there, it's going to take up, I don't know, 5 times as much room as what my old Charm High used to take, and so I can't just put it against the wall like I used to before because of the feeders on the back. I need access to there to be able to get and load and remove feeders. So yeah, there's a lot of setup to do. There's a lot of learning to do. I'm not going to video myself learning how to use the machine, but I will absolutely video myself using the machine and showing you how it works, show you all the cool features, especially the touchscreen. It's got some pretty amazing features. I'm stoked that I finally got this machine, and I'm really looking forward to getting up and running. But for now, that is it. Sorry, you'll have to just wait for the next video to find out more. If you're new here, please subscribe and click the alarm bell to be notified when I've got new videos coming out, like part 2 of my Neoden S1 journey. If you're not new, welcome back. It's great to have you here. Please click the like button if you enjoyed the video. To my patrons, thanks heaps. I'm really enjoying engaging with you all and chatting with you about my parts. If you'd like to back me on Patreon, there's a link in the description below. And until next time, happy pick and placing. Bye.